T-Pain. Snap your fingers.
Do the steps. You can do it all by yourself. Let me see it.
Baby girl,
What's your name?
let me talk to you. Let me buy you a drink.
I missed the part. Say, baby girl, what's your
name?
What's your name?
Let me talk to you. Let me buy you a drink.
Drink.
I'm T-Pain. You know me.
Me.
Convict music, nasty boy.
Holy. Okay. Do you like it? Do you like this better?
I think that I do, because here's what it is. Sometimes we shout.
Yes, we do.
Shout.
Shout.
See, that already sounds better.
Oh, okay.
So we need the muffle.
Well, you know.
Because the answer is not to stop shouting.
No. Like when you went,
yeah.
And I went, yeah.
So we need it. I've noticed, when I'm editing, I just need that little bit of sharpness taken out.
Okay. But you can still hear us plenty
And
fine. And we're not covering too much of our face for Alex. Our face says.
Know this. And Matt will support.
Concur.
He will concur. I said, I gotta wear a hat today.
Yeah.
Friends, if you have naturally curly hair and you wear it curly, and not everybody does, and I understand that is a journey.
Yeah.
Curly,
it's a choice and a journey.
It's a journey, and it's not easy. So if you don't wear your hair curly, I fully understand. But when you do, trying to make curly hair last past 3 days tops, is tough.
Okay.
Now, if you're doing the whole blowout thing, I'll make my hair last a week. You know this.
Yes.
But curls, night after night, you sleep on them. They are so affected by humidity and the elements and everything. It's tough. So I had said, it's got to be a hat day. And then I said, I can't wear a hat anymore because Miranda's cousin Alex does not like our faces being covered.
That's right. And I'm going to have to do the same because you have curly hair journey problems. And then I have dyed hair girl problems.
Yes.
And so you can only get so much. I cannot wash my hair. Literally, shampoo does not touch my hair ever.
Yeah.
And so I have to water my hair. I know people are very confused by this phenomenon. But here's how I'm going to explain it.
Tell them how you do it, because it is shocking to everyone that hears it.
It is shocking. And I understand that because I used to be the girl with very oily hair who had to wash every day, or so I thought. And then I began to experiment with color in my hair. You can see my roots. I am a naturally almost black haired person. It is the darkest brown you can get. And so I have to dye it. I have to bleach it.
Bleach it first.
4 hours. And I mean like 4 hours. Like it
4
takes
hours.
so long to process because it's multiple rounds of bleach happening.
Yes.
Because, it goes from like brown to orange, orangey to yellow, yellow to white.
Yes.
And then I can deposit color on it, which is why people are like, huh? Can't you just make brown hair purple?
No.
Have y'all ever tried to take a purple crayon
on a brown sheet of paper?
On a brown sheet of paper. Do you see the purple?
No.
No, that's not how color works. But if you put it on a white sheet of paper, can you see that purple crayon?
That's right.
Let's talk about it. Crayon or crayon? Crown? Crane?
Let me think.
Crayon.
Let me get in a natural state.
Yeah, if you were to say like, we need to go school supply shopping, get the kids pencils, paper, and
a box of crayons. It's crayons for me.
Crayons.
Wow, did you hear how I emphasized that?
I sure did.
Crayons.
Crayons. It's definitely crayons for me.
Crayons.
Yeah, crayons.
Whoa.
I think it's again the Yankee versus Southern mother.
Crayons.
Because don't no crayons. Don't you hear Mary? Crayons.
I guess you're right.
Miranda.
Crayons.
Did you break your crayons again? No, that sounds a little Southern. But
that's what I'm saying.
It's a long A.
I feel like the Southern mom.
You're still doing a long A in crayon. I'm doing it in one syllable and you're doing it in 2.
I feel like a news anchor the way that I'm saying it. Crayon.
Mm-hmm. Stabbing with a crayon.
We'll be back at 7:00
with all these people school supply shopping. It's the day before school starts. Get those lunches ready.
Did you have a class where you had to learn about the news anchor voice?
I was told very early on when I was starting to take my television classes at Appalachian. Number one, the reason why I go by Miranda to this day is because my professor, and I cannot remember what his name is, Joshua will remember for me, but he was giving attendance on day 1 and he said Miranda Thomas, and I said here, And then he said, what do you want to be? And I said, well, I want to be Miranda and Regis, or I said, I want to be like Regis and Mandy. That's my goal is to host that show. And he was like, Mandy. And I said, well, yeah, that's my nickname. Everybody has called me Mandy instead of Miranda. And he's like, no.
He immediately knew that's not going to work for TV.
No. So, Miranda is such a great
name. It is.
He's like, it's a great name. I know. He said, it's a great name. It has great presence. It sounds good. You absolutely should go by Miranda on TV.
It rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. And so I said, okay, well, I've always loved my real name, but I was just kind of given Mandy as a moniker because of Barry Manilow, obviously. Mandy, you came and you gave without taking. You took me away, oh Mandy. Do you know this one?
I don't know this one.
Wow.
But we will add it to our list.
So yeah, that's coming.
It's coming soon.
You know what? But the Patreon came, didn't it, y'all?
The website came, the Patreon came. Every time y'all think we won't, we do.
Yeah. Won't he do it?
Yeah, won't he do it? So you're not a hater, you're a fan.
And Austin came.
We finally got
Sorry, we just watched the clip of Madison and like checking for the condom in the bed. So saying Austin came is why we're giggling so hard, but also because we're immature and, you know, 9-year-old boys.
Yeah.
But so he came on the pod. He held true. So just know that when I say I had a list of yeses, they're coming.
They're coming.
Check.
Almost
another check. Yeah. So it's happening.
What we said is it would be great. I think I was saying this to Matt last night. If once a month.
And by we said, yes, you and Matt. What?
If once a month we had a big name on here.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's a good goal?
Yeah, I think that's a great goal.
So
I think it's lofty, but great.
Austin is the September. So now we start working on who's the October.
I know.
I think that's fair.
I already wrote the other one and said, we just had Austin on and, you know, sticking in the theme of like TV personalities, but also way more than that. You know, just letting you know, we're still here waiting, excited for you. So it's coming.
Here it comes.
She is coming.
She
is coming. I know it in my bones.
Okay. Because this is about her story, not just history.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. And her story is great. Her story and her story is great.
It is.
So I went by Miranda basically from that point on.
Yeah.
Because shortly after that class, I met Joshua.
Yeah.
And I said the same thing to him. Well, my name's Miranda, but I've always gone by Mandy. But now I'm going by Miranda in all my broadcasting classes because apparently that sounds better. And he was like, yeah, that name is beautiful. I love the name Miranda. And so he's always called me Miranda. He introduced me to all of his family as Miranda, all of his friends as Miranda. I have never heard my husband in my life call me Mandy.
Really?
Never. It would sound,
I guess not, because all the times I hear him talk about you and gush about you, which he does a lot, he calls you Miranda.
It would sound so weird for Joshua's voice to say Mandy like that. I can't even imagine it because it's never happened. I could not even imagine it.
But you call him Joshua.
Yes, Joshua, full name. He introduced himself to me as Joshua.
Yeah.
So I call him.
It's not Josh.
I call him Joshua. Now, when I'm telling a story, I'll be like Josh, but that's more to save time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joshua. Well, I say his name a lot.
Yeah, you got to save time.
I say it a lot. And so I'm talking about him often. So I got to, all those milliseconds that add up, you guys. So I've been Miranda kind of ever since then. And even if you knew me back in my reporter days here in Charlotte, I was Miranda Miller.
Oh my gosh.
With Fox, with News 14.
And I do feel that Miranda Thomas and Miranda Miller both work and are great
names.
Anchor names.
They're great anchor names. And I was never an on-air reporter until after I married him. So I was always that alliteration of Miranda Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was never Miranda Thomas.
But we do feel that it was a miss that you didn't get Mira.
Yes.
We talked about that.
Have we on this?
No. I'm saying you and I think about it probably a couple times a day. I'm like, my best friend could be so much more interesting if her name
was Mira.
Like, her parents really could have done us a solid.
If Barry Manilow had not released the song Mandy, they think that they would have still done Miranda, but named me Randy for Miranda.
I love Randy for you.
I do not, but thank you.
Oh, you could totally pull it off.
I'm not into it, but the girl who sat behind me in nutrition class again at Appalachian, so many things happened at Appalachian. This is why I love Appalachian so much. Met Joshua there, this girl in my nutrition class, the teacher telling me to go buy Miranda, who was right, like all of these things. But no, the girl behind me in nutrition class said, after that teacher had said, okay, Miranda Thomas, and I said here, and she goes, oh my gosh, I love your name. She kind of tapped me on the shoulder and she goes, I love the name Miranda. And I said, oh, that's so nice to hear because I have always gone by Mandy. And so to like even think about going by Miranda is so foreign, but I guess I kind of could now. Yeah. And this is before even the broadcasting thing had happened. And she said, she kind of pulls back and she goes, I'm pregnant. And I was like, oh, like she was someone who I think was coming back kind of later in life to get her degree.
Sure. So
she wasn't like, not that there was anything wrong with an 18 or 19-year-old being pregnant in my class, but everyone's brain goes there. But I think she just looked a little bit older to me. And so I think that was the case. And it would make sense because it was like a nutrition class. I think she was coming back to get like a dietitian's license.
Okay.
And so she's like, I'm pregnant. And I said, oh, congratulations. And she goes, I think I'm going to name my baby Miranda. Like, I loved your name so much. It's not one I hear very often.
No.
Okay. So I swear. So she says, what? I'm so honored. I'm just like, please name your baby after me. And then she says, and I'm not sure if it was that same day, like could have been a couple minutes later, or I don't know, or days later, because what is time? She said, so how I said we're going to name our baby Miranda? I think the nickname Mira is so cute, Mira. So I'm shocked your parents went with Mandy. I think Mira makes total sense.
And did your heart just sink in that moment? Were you just like,
I was like, Mira.
Your whole life flashed before your eyes.
Honestly,
how different things could have been.
A fever dream. Because I had, of course, known of the actress Mira Sorvino.
Yeah, Mira is just such a rap name.
I just thought that Mira was like an Italian word or I never thought of Mira being short for Miranda.
It's perfect.
I know. So if anyone is out there, if you are pregnant and you want to name your baby Miranda after me, obviously.
Yes.
Know this. Mira is a phenomenal nickname.
And I just think it's cool.
It's cool.
That's where I'm at.
If a girl is Mira in high school,
she's cool.
She's cool.
She's a good time girl.
And whether everyone else knows she's cool, it doesn't matter. She knows she's cool.
She knows.
She knows she's cool.
She's down with whatever trend suits her heart. Mm-hmm. She's not trying to be like everybody else.
She's starting them, not following them.
That's it.
That's who she is. That's Mira. Yeah. And speaking of the gong gong, anytime I introduce myself now to people, because what I realize if I say Miranda, sometimes I say it too quickly. People think I say Maria. They always respond back to me, Maria. And so I say Miranda, like the rights.
You do.
I do.
And you love justice.
And I love justice and I love going to court cases. So it all makes it like a lot of people thought as I was going to these trials and kind of getting some traction around crime and all that. They were like, is it really Miranda now?
Oh, they thought maybe this was just
a moniker. Yeah, they thought like for the Miranda rights, I was just like Miranda in Charlotte. And I said, no, that's my name. And now I say Miranda, like the rights. And people are like, I know exactly how to spell it. And I know exactly how to pronounce it.
Okay, this is terrible. Remind me again. Is that the right to remain silent?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're arrested.
That whole thing that they say.
When you're arrested, you are read your Miranda rights. The rights to remain silent, the right to a lawyer to be present before you are questioned, all of those sorts of, that you will get a fair and just trial in a court of law. If it goes to that, those are your Miranda rights. So that's my joke to people is that Miranda, like the rights. Have you ever been read them? And then people, okay, here's another fun story since we're on it. When I was hosting Chef's Best, the chef that day told me, I said the same kind of joke to him. I said, Miranda, like the rights, it'll be easy to remember. I said, I'm sure you've never been read them. He's like, oh yeah, I have. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Been arrested several times, actually. Yeah. He said once here in America and a couple times.
What for?
Yeah.
Do you want to share?
I don't know. I think he was telling me that in the vaults.
Okay.
Nothing too bad.
Maybe we could put it on the Patreon.
Oh yeah, we'll hide it behind our subscribers.
Yeah.
They'll like to hear that. Oh yeah, I'll do a little blurb. I'll do
Just
a little type up.
blurb.
Yeah, I'll do a little type up. I'll post a picture of the two of us, and I'm
almost like a little tweet.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Are we still calling them tweet? What are we calling them?
I'm so annoyed by this.
So am I. And I get that Elon's, it's on brand to go with X, and his kid's name is X, and the spaceship is X, and everything is X, and it's his money, and you do you, Elon.
And he has a lot of X's.
And I love Elon. He does. He does. I love Elon.
I know.
But this has become very confusing.
You love an unhinged mogul of sorts.
Do.
Like, just do it.
Just putting a crazy idea in his head and being like, I'm gonna do that. And
then he does it.
And actually doing it.
Yeah, it's the 7 in you who really enjoys that, I think.
We forever are going to call it Twitter. And I think maybe he did not realize that it's been around long enough that there's just no way to adapt to X. And what are we calling the tweets now? We're not if we don't call them tweets, what are we calling them?
And they're not, again, they can't be called like X's.
No,
like,
that's not going to work.
It's so bizarre. What I'm really annoyed about is that every article now is like X, formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah.
Elon Musk company, which I said, we get it by now. Like, no one is still confused about the Twitter to X of it all.
Sure.
But we need Elon to come out. He's so rich, he could take up 30 seconds across everyone's airwaves.
Yeah.
And just say, here's the deal. And this is what we're going to call them. No more formally known as, no more this, that. And can you just tell us? And can we have just a emotion strike?
I love
gong,
that.
Gong.
And I
let us know.
Have wanted someone to come over the airwaves for years. I've wanted this. You see it in superhero movies, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's in Times Square.
Yeah.
And then someone comes over. It's either like the evil mastermind or it's President Business. It's somebody with an announcement. And I have been waiting for someone to take over every stream, every live stream, every social media. We're looking at our phones. Their face pops up from Africa to Alaska, everywhere in between.
Yes.
Why hasn't anybody done this yet?
And what do you want them to say?
I don't know.
But just you want that moment.
I think that you're onto something with the Elon Musk.
He can afford it.
Making the Twitter to X announcement. I think that you're onto it.
Because I don't think that most people can afford that. It's so expensive to take up that amount of time. But who can? Elon can. So do it already. I'm so sick of having to discuss the Twitter X. Formerly, if it's not tweet, what is it now? Just come up with an idea. You come up with all these other ideas. Can we not come up with a word? Invent one. I don't care.
What would it take? I mean, does the technology exist to do that? Would all the big heads and all the big people have to come together and say, we're going to press this big red button and it's going to allow this to happen?
Gosh.
Like, would they do it if the aliens did finally come? Okay, that's a good example.
Okay.
A la Independence Day. We see the ships in the sky.
I've not seen that.
That is blasphemous, and I rebuke that you have not seen Independence Day. I have forgiven you for a lot of other things. Slumdog Millionaire, Gladiator, plenty of movies, Disney movies. But the fact that you have not seen Independence Day is sickening.
Look how red I'm getting from her yelling at
I am
me.
sick to my stomach over this.
I've never seen it. I know.
So you haven't shown your children?
Nope. I don't think that they've seen it.
I know that Josh has seen it.
I'm sure he has. Joshua watched movies growing up. Then he watched them in college. And then he met me. He still watched some, but he just showed me. Okay.
I have so many feelings. This is sick.
I'm
and
sorry
all of you cousins that are watching and listening, and you act like you support, you don't support, because you be coming over, Mikey, Alex, any of these people could be getting you to watch this
forcing me. Okay. So has that moved now to the top of the list of what I need to watch?
It's so, we have to move on.
Okay.
The fact that I'm sitting next to someone who's not watched Independence Day and you call yourself an 80s baby or a 90s kid.
I know.
You're a liar.
I'm a liar, Camille.
John 8:44.
Is that a Bible verse? Well, for a second, I'm not sure we're talking movie, song. I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere. But you did say a key word that reminded me about something that I've been meaning to bring up to you.
Bring it up.
for way too long.
Bring it up because I got to move on.
You said Alaska.
Yeah.
Okay. I very recently, in the last few months, found out, and I want to say it's Elise Myers who posted it, who shout out, she just had her second baby. Oliver.
Yes.
We're so excited.
Yay,
We
Elise.
love her. She just seems like a dope person.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So Elise posted one of her funny videos. You know, she does all the funny videos.
Funny stories.
And she said, I think the title was like 3 things that I should be embarrassed about, but I'm not. Okay. And one of the things was, I just found out that Alaska is not an island underneath California. Okay.
What?
I need everyone.
Stop.
Here's what happened back in our day. And maybe still today you know what I'm going to say.
Okay.
So when they showed us the maps of America,
yes,
because Alaska was way up here off Canada, I'm about to blow some people's minds here. Because Alaska is way up here off Canada and Hawaii is way out in the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
They would put Alaska underneath California, not attached.
In a little box.
Yes, these were outlined in borders.
Yeah, they were in
there
borders.
was a black border around it.
Yes.
And then the Hawaiian Islands were kind of next to Alaska in the same border.
Yeah.
And it would say in fine print something alluding to where they actually belong.
Probably gave the longitude and latitude.
Yes, something to make you realize that these aren't
right here.
They aren't located there. And so she said this. She admitted
this whole time. When did she figure it out?
A month or 2 ago. But wait, there's more.
No.
The amount of people who commented saying, what? Alaska's not an island underneath California in the water?
No.
Oh, yes.
I have the chills.
Oh, yes. And if you are a podcat and your mind is also blown,
I'm going to need you to call in.
We would like it, and we'll keep it anonymous on the HoHo if you're embarrassed, but if you're not, we don't want you to be, because clearly I don't know everything about Independence Day. And so, and she doesn't know that about me either. She's just being surprised by something. And now I'm, the amount of but
there's no, okay, hear me, podcasts, because there's no hate, no shade, there's no shame.
We can't know everything.
But there's also, even if no one told you the exact location, what you do know about Alaska should tip you off that it's not just out to the west of California, an island in the Pacific. It's gotta be up high where the snow is.
Yeah. Has no one said Alaska's super duper cold, covered in snow, and I know that because of like Huskies and dog sledding and Eskimos and igloos. And
moccasin.
And you said that's definitely in the Pacific Ocean. It's definitely like underneath California, closer to the equator. Like this blew my mind. And there were thousands of people commenting
that she had been informed and they had no idea.
No idea. Minds were blown. These were not 5-year-olds either, y'all. These are adults using social media, following Elise Myers.
Who are blame for this? Is this
the map makers?
The map makers, the public school systems? I don't know. I mean, I really want to know who is to blame, because that's bad. That's bad. It's
the maps, the way that they were done. I can see how people maybe for a little while were confused, but I'm even thinking back to when Sarah Palin ran.
Yeah, she said, I can see Russia from my house.
And I need to know if people thought that Sarah Palin, running from the home state of Alaska, saw Russia from underneath California from an island. And no wonder people made fun of her for saying that was her international policy, because people are like, she can't see Russia for sure.
But billions of people think that Alaska is to the west.
Listen, I'm not saying it was her brightest thing to say when they were asking her about, what do you know about international policy? And she said, well, I can see Russia from my backyard. I'm not saying that. I'm not defending her for that. But what I am going to wonder is, did people think that Alaska, that she was from a state underneath California floating in the water. And that she somehow saw Russia. And then that tells me maybe those people also didn't know where Russia is. And
I think it's clear that a lot of people don't know a lot of things. And what this is giving, and we've already touched on it on this podcast here in this room, is the Miss Teen South Carolina. People don't know how to locate the United States on a map. And to me, even that question sounded crazy at the time, thinking, but now 1 in 5 people can't locate the United States on a map. Why do we think that is?
And now it's all making sense.
And now it's making sense. So maybe some of the garbledygook she said actually would be helpful. Maybe it would. and people think Alaska is right next to Hawaii, just below California.
And why? And are these same people? Have you gone there? I'm also curious. Have you gone to Hawaii and thought, well, maybe we could just do a day trip, fly over to Alaska or something, the way that people will go to Paris and then go, oh, well, I can go to another country even, like from here. And I am curious. I need to ask one of these people, and I genuinely, I'm not making fun. I have so many questions.
So many questions.
I have so many questions.
I can't wait to put this on the receipts. I can't wait to post the map.
Yeah.
You know, with
we
the
all
box.
have it.
We all know exactly what it looks like. But
I will say,
growing up, when I would see the box, I knew that means it's up here.
Yeah, I knew that Alaska was up in Canada. I remember that you had to go through Canada to even get to Alaska. I also knew that Alaska was humongous.
Yes, huge.
And that it took up a huge part of the United States. And so another thing I'm wondering is in that map.
Yeah.
Okay. Alaska's down here, and it looks smaller than even Texas on this map.
Yeah, because they have to make it small
to fit.
To fit.
It's not to scale, my friends. And so
I'm also think it's that size.
I'm also wondering if this now makes sense as to why when you would say, what's the largest state? And people would go,
oh, you're right.
Not Alaska.
They'd say Texas usually.
Texas, California. So one of these bigger states. It's Alaska. Alaska's humongous. It's humongous. And it's also making me, when, there's always something environmentally coming up about Alaska. And that people are like, no, we can't do. I'm also like, is it because you think it's a floating island down there? It's all coming. And I
think
me now.
People, even if they know it's low, high, wherever, they do think Alaska is an island. They don't realize you can drive to it.
Oh yeah, you can drive to my brother-in-law has driven to it, and Joshua
recently did.
Yeah, and Joshua recently flew there. It was number 49 for Joshua. He has been to 49 out of 50 states now because of Alaska.
What's he missing? Hawaii?
Hawaii.
That's how Pam, if you're listening, you know that you do this. She says Kuwa'a.
That 100% sounds, and now crayons.
Mm-hmm. Crayons on Hawaii.
But that is a fascinating fact.
I have learned some things today. Do you follow the guy? I must have sent you some of these videos. He goes out into the public, usually in Times Square.
Yes.
And he asks very, very basic questions.
Yes. And no one knows the answer.
He'll say, how many hours are in 2 days?
Yeah.
And they'll say 36.
Yeah.
He'll say, what's 3 times 3 times 3? And they'll say 12.
Yep.
It is, but the best part is they always answer it wrong.
Yep.
And he looks at the camera and he goes, yes. He makes them believe that they are correct.
Well, now they're really never going to learn.
They're never going to learn.
And if he asks these people where Alaska is on a map, they are going to say it's an island floating underneath California.
Yes. He'll say, how many cents are in a quarter? And they'll say 15. I mean, y'all, what's going on? Is it in the schools? Is it in the homes? Again, like there's no
hide your wife, hide your kids.
But we got to take care of the American mind.
None of it makes sense to me because I am a trivia buff.
Yes, you are.
I thirst for all the knowledge. I want to be right. If there's a tiebreaker, I'm walking up there to do it. Y'all, we had such a good trivia round last night and we completely fell apart in the fourth. Yeah, we had a great night going for us. We were 12 for 12, 12 for 12. I mean, we were going up for tiebreakers, winning the tiebreakers. We took the first 3 rounds. And on round 4, this is where the game is made or broken because it's the Family Feud round.
Oh.
And so they're looking for the number 1 answers for Family Feud
That's
questions.
tough.
And I watch Family Feud.
I know.
I am obsessed with it. I love Steve Harvey so much. God, if we could interview Steve Harvey. And
Let's put it out there.
Put it out there. Anybody know Steve Harvey?
Give us a shout.
Maybe we do what Bobby did. We'll pay you $300 to bring us Steve Harvey.
I will.
Okay.
$300.
$300 to bring us Steve Harvey, and he'll do the podcast.
Yes.
Can't just bring him here. Well, you can bring him here, but
don't kidnap him and bring him to us. Bound and tied.
No, don't be cousin Eddie.
Like Christmas vacation.
Yeah, don't be cousin Eddie on Christmas vacation.
But bring him to us as so that
he can Zoom. Yeah. He can come. He can Zoom. Whatever. But you can all fall apart because what happens is you will discuss yourself to death on every question.
Yeah. Because you're trying to get the best answer.
You're trying to get the best answer. Like this one. Name something you fall out of.
Your seat, your chair.
You're wrong.
Fall out of step.
You're wrong.
What is it?
Love.
Oh,
I know.
That's just not on my radar because I'm so deeply in love.
I know. So you wouldn't even say, well, I know. You're doused. So I doused. So I said, fall out of bed.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just the stage of life you're in. Like if you have little kids, they're falling out of bed or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said seat. Yeah. Similar.
Like to me, I'm thinking like when you're laughing, falling out of your seat.
It was love. We said bed. Of course, but we hemmed and hawed. Love, bed, bed.
Man.
But we said all of the right answers, but we also talked ourselves out of it with other ones. And we fell apart and we got 6 out of 12 on the last one. And we fell out of the top 3.
Were y'all so mad at yourselves?
I was pretty mad. And then, by the time I walked to my car, I was over it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the heartbreaking game of trivia.
Yeah.
What can we say?
As we always say.
As they say.
It is always the most heartbreaking part is that Family Feud round. You know what isn't heartbreaking?
Tell me.
Halloween Horror Night.
Woo!
Should we get into it? Or did you have anything else? Or do you want to jump into where we've been?
We need to tell the people. We have a lot of things we got to tell people about.
I know, and none of that we just talked about was planned on being talked about. None of that. But if we don't start with at least 20 to 25 minutes of just riffing.
Okay, first of all, everyone needs
YouTube people. YouTube, shine it up again and go. YouTube people.
Do y'all recognize this? This cross-eyed man was giving us the giggles at 3:00 in the morning. On Monday, September 11th, at 3:00 in the morning, we were crying.
Yeah, crying. I mean, so we had gone to Halloween Horror Nights, been there till the wee hours of the morning, come back to the room. Everyone showered, of course, but me, because I'm not doing that.
No.
I do not care. And I think people were thoroughly grossed out. Not you. And then we decided to turn on to fall asleep. We don't fall asleep to shows, but we needed something to kind of just like bring the adrenaline down.
Land the plane.
Yes, land the plane.
Yeah.
Yes. And so we wanted to do that, and we wanted to just watch something kind of mindless. So I said, Sister Wives is on. That's great.
Perfect. Yes.
Great. Because like we don't actually care about
it. It can just hum along in the background.
Yeah. And this Cody is having so much trouble with all the wives. Well, some of them have left. They're gone. They're gone.
I didn't realize.
Oh yeah. That Christine had already left. Janelle's pretty much left. Mary's like about to leave. So it's really only leaving Robin. And so of course they're like, well, who's he going to film with?
Right.
So they bring in this guy.
Who's his buddy up the road.
Yeah.
Who has a cross-eye.
True. But the problem is this, and we're not making fun of Lily has these.
Okay.
Lily has a diagnosed crossed eye.
Okay, I wanted to say this, friends. We are allowed to laugh about this because 2 people in our lives that matter so dearly to us have cross-eyes.
Yeah,
Matt grew up, y'all.
With all.
And if he will let me put a receipt up, if we can get a picture, I will.
And I'll put one up of Lily.
Yes, but he had a severe cross-eye to where he had to wear eye patches to try to get it straightened down. I mean, this was like
glasses and eye patches and all the
cross to bear Vicky Nicholson.
Yeah.
And so, but one day,
it's just like woke up and it went away.
In 10th grade, he woke up, he looked in the mirror, and his eyes were fixed. They just went back to normal.
It's crazy.
It's the craziest story. And his life changed after that. Yeah. Everything changed for him.
It really did. He got taller.
He got taller. The ladies were coming in. He figured out how to put gel in his hair and push it up and not down. Like so much changed for him.
Y'all know what we're saying when the guys were doing this with the gel?
No, Matt looked so good with the gel.
Finally went up.
Woo, it changed everything.
Yeah.
So all that to say.
Yes.
I have a cross-eyed person in my life.
And then Lily,
yes.
Lily, when she was 3-4 years old, and this is a 100% true story because I would, one, never lie to y'all. And two, because it is just the story, is that Joshua said to Lily, he said, I can see I can barely cross my eyes because it feels so weird to me. But he goes, Lily, I can see 2 of you. And he crossed his eyes.
Okay.
And she goes, what are you doing, Daddy? What are you doing? And he said, if you look at your nose, you'll cross your eyes and you'll see 2 of everything. You'll see 2 noses, 2 of this. And she goes, okay. And she goes, oh, I can see 2 of you. And the one eyeball never came back out.
It never came back.
And
I don't think I knew that.
Okay. So when your grandma used to say, don't cross your eyes, get stuck that way, that's true. And let me explain why that happens. So for children, especially in children, that you will have like a degenerative muscular breakdown in the eye. And you're struggling to hold that eyeball out. Sometimes when you roll it in, when you finally intentionally like roll it in, it's not strong enough, the muscle, to pull it back out. And that's why that wives' tale originated from the beginning, because doctors did see that when kids tried to cross their eyes, sometimes it didn't come back out. Yes. I would almost bet if Matt wasn't born that way, I'd almost bet he was playing around with crossing his eyes and it got stuck.
Okay, this announcement would be great to push the red button. Yes. Make an announcement out to the world. Would it not? Put it out to the world. I don't know. I didn't know this. Get it, put it everywhere. All at once. Elon Musk, if you're listening.
Kristen, the way you can circle back like no other. Truly.
But to me, in my mind, I was thinking everyone should know this. I know how they can do it.
Yes.
Put them on Times Square. Take over the phones from Alaska to Africa and everywhere.
Alaska, which is up off of Canada.
You guys. Everyone needs to know that.
It is true.
If kids really knew,
it's
true. My gosh, like my eyeball is really going to get stuck cross. I will never do that again.
And it really can.
And it happened. Does Josh feel bad about that?
He does. He was telling Tiffany about it last night. We talked about it at trivia. Yes, Tiffany and Ciro came and met us at trivia. They went and set up at Belk, saw Joshua. He said, come to trivia. Anyway, so they ended up meeting us there. So it's great. So it's just the 4 of us at trivia last night. And he was talking to them about it last night. Like he said, it's my fault. Like I feel terrible. I told her to. And then it got stuck and I couldn't believe it. I was in shock.
How does Lily feel about that?
Oh,
does she have any feelings about?
No, she thinks it's funny. She was just like, well, how would you have known?
That is crazy.
It is 100% true.
I can't believe this.
From that day, her eye stayed crossed. And then we took her, I thought she was doing it as a trick.
Yeah.
Finally, her preschool teachers, several of them, were like, Miranda, we need to talk about her eye. It's kind of creeping us out.
Yeah.
Because it's always in.
It's always in.
And she looks at you and it's just the one. It's just the one. And it's
the way in. And that
was
Matt too.
Yeah.
It's just the one.
Just the one all the way in. And so they said, I think you should take her to the eye doctor. I was like, no, it's just kind of like a cool party trick. I really did think.
You didn't realize it was stuck?
I didn't realize it was stuck. I just thought like it was in. And yeah, it wasn't coming back out, but I just don't freak out about anything. You know me. I don't panic. I don't freak out. The preschool teachers were definitely freaked out. And finally took her to the doctor. And they were like, oh yeah, so she has esotropia. And not only that, but when we did her vision test, she's extremely farsighted.
Okay.
And so what would happen most likely is that, and what would also kind of wear the muscle down.
Yes.
Is what they said. Is that when she would try to read or hold anything close up, she would almost cross her eyes as a form of zooming in.
Yes. And Matt still does that.
Yes.
His will still cross
when he's reading
when he, let's say we're going to take a selfie.
Yep.
And he gets too focused on that right there. That eye is going to go in. I have thousands of pictures on my phone where we look so cute together. But that eye is in and he'll go, we got to take it again.
Yeah.
We got to take it again.
And he's got to focus on kind of pulling it back
look beyond the phone. You know?
Look beyond the phone.
And that's not a lesson for life.
Yeah. Another red button moment.
Yeah. Look beyond.
So and also just look at the dot at the top. Enough people don't know that trick either.
Yeah.
That's the camera is the dot. Don't look at yourself in the selfie. Look at the little dot at the top. That's the camera and the phone. And all of a sudden you're going to like your pictures better because you're actually looking at it. So pro tip. But yes, so then I took her to the doctor. They said she's farsighted. She's been crossing her eyes in a form of zooming in because she can't see up close. She can see far away. And so it's worn down that muscle. And the second she was taught to cross the eye, then it stayed in. So we got her glasses.
Yes.
And that would help with the farsighted, but they said it would also help with pulling the eyeball back out because she wouldn't be zooming anymore.
Yes.
And so we put the glasses on her, and I was telling the story about how terrible I felt because I didn't know that my child couldn't see.
Couldn't see this whole time.
Could not see. And that we put the glasses on her, and on the first car ride home, she said to me, trees have leaves. Those are what leaves look like.
Oh.
I said, honey.
You are
follow me for parenting tip.
You're a horrible mother.
Yeah, I'm a parenting pro. Yeah. Sure am. I got home and I got out a pen and paper and I said, so you really thought that trees
were how we would draw them.
Were how we would draw them, just the trunks and then the big bubble of green.
Almost like how they animate it in the Trolls movies.
She said,
like cotton candy.
That's what I thought that they were. I thought that trees were just big green balls on top of trunks.
This is astounding.
And that's what leaves look like.
Does she remember this moment? How old was she?
3 or 4.
Oh, Lil.
It's so sweet.
Oh my gosh. That was probably about Tinsley got glasses, I think around 4.
Yeah.
And we realized eventually, you know, as your kids go to the doctor and stuff, that she could not see things far away.
Okay.
And for y'all have so many stoic pictures of Tinsley growing up between birth and 4.
Yeah.
Where we're like, smile, the camera smiles. Look at my smile. And she's just stone faced. And we realized because us doing all that gymnastics work behind the camera to make her smile and be goofy and silly, she couldn't see any of it. It was 2 fleshy blobs of people yelling at her to smile. And she's just concentrating, going, I'm trying to see what y'all are doing back there, and never cracked a smile. So Tinsley, admittedly, she knows it was just the most like stoic, stone-faced baby.
All of her pictures. And I just thought that she was a mood.
Yeah, you know? Thought that was her mood.
That's just her personality and her mood. She was smiling when you were around her and talking and everything, but you're right. In pictures, it's like,
it was... And now imagine me as a mother.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
Trying to get my kid to like perk up a little bit.
You are going to be happy. You're going to let everyone know you're happy.
Smile,
I'm literally blogging about this. Let's go.
Like, it drove me crazy. But then we realized she got the glasses and she could finally see us.
And so you're like,
see the camera.
Yeah.
See the emotions or dad being silly with the keys or whatever. And
she's like,
then we got great photos.
So cute.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So all that to say, we do have cross-eyed people in our life.
We have cross-eyed people.
So we will laugh at this man and his situation because we watched him so much on the TV that we began to see what the problem was for him.
And it was probably the same situation as anybody. And he would close his eyes to kind of concentrate. Yeah. And I do that too.
You do.
You know me. I close my eyes so much. I'm having to really focus to try to look at the camera for this now. But when I'm telling a story, I'm just off. I'm trying to recall everything. So I'm closing my eyes as a form of concentration.
Correct.
And so it oftentimes will, I think, look like I'm lying. I called Matt out on it downstairs. I said, your eyes are closed when you're trying to tell us this part.
Yeah.
You're lying.
You're a liar.
But for me, I'm like, trying to pull things from the depths of my ADHD. Yes,
I see you.
Swiss cheese brain.
You're working really hard to pull it back, to reel it in.
I got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing that. And so this is what this guy I think was doing. But every time he'd open his eyes, it was like he would have to try to refocus on where the camera person was.
Y'all.
And so they would just, I mean, he was everywhere, up, down, in, out, left, right.
And he would kind of get it straitraightened out.
And then he'd close them
again to kind of think about the next sentence. And then he'd open them and they're just back in, baby, just overlap. It's like a Venn diagram of eyeballs.
Yes. And I wanted to say, not only has not one of your one wife told you this, but not any of your wives.
Yeah, because this guy had multiple wives too.
No one loves you enough to say, hey, bud.
No. Hey,
just
bud.
keep them open.
And hey, bud, like maybe don't go on TV if you don't have people seeing this.
Just keep your eyes open. Stop closing them so much when you talk. Just keep them open.
Maybe he doesn't care.
And
maybe, but you know, to me, it's
good for him if he does.
Right. If you don't care, then what I think you need to do when it comes to anything on your body, like lean in.
Yeah.
maybe make a little joke about
Yeah.
it so that we as the viewer
can then relax
and be like, this is just how it is.
Yeah.
He's got this thing. And
I self-deprecate. I'm walking into a room and I'm saying, here it all is.
Yeah, you could teach a course.
I really could.
Yeah.
And then it's all out of the way. And now let's get it popping.
But this man, we could not stop laughing at this. And was it Josie that woke up and goes, are y'all laughing at me?
No, I was like,
no, it's this cross-eyed guy on Sister Wives.
And we can't stop it. And Kristen made it her screensaver. And now every time she pulls up her phone, we have to see him. It's everything about him was just
he has very small teeth. You know, but he looked
his tongue was way too big for his mouth, so he kind of so it was the peanut butter
everything
he talked, everything he said, the eyes, everything was just so funny, and he wasn't giving Cody any kind of good advice.
No good advice.
None. And so we were like, why is this man here? Of all the people, they were just like, find us a polygamist.
I mean, they did. They went up the road.
Camera and a polygamist stat.
They went up the road and found this guy, and he had the cross-eyed. And I think TLC was kind of like, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
Let's put this guy on screen. And it tickled us to the core. I thought we'd come back from Halloween Horror Nights exhausted.
No.
And just ready to crash. And I couldn't. I needed to.
You were on so much adrenaline.
Yes. We had to bring it down.
We did have to bring it down. But this only made us even more up. And then I couldn't fall asleep at all.
I know.
It was terrible. But it's okay.
It's okay.
It was worth it. I caught up on it the next night.
You did.
Well, right. I mean, it's not like I slept 16 hours to make up for 8. I didn't, Kat, but I slept 8 hours. And that's incredible. So I'll take it.
Y'all. Let's talk about, because Halloween Horror Nights has just begun. So this is us bringing you breaking news about the haunted houses and all the things that you can see.
Does anybody else, if you're a YouTuber, does anybody else watch her face when she talks and just crack up just looking at her saying things? I can't help it. It makes me, everything you say, but the facial expression, everything. And but exciting, more breaking news is that we think we have figured out a better way to get clearer, better sounding videos on our YouTube.
So we think that
they'll be coming back.
We'll be watching this.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, you're seeing that it's clear.
Yeah. We're hoping that you're enjoying that, and that we will be back on YouTube now with the full ones instead of just the little ones.
Yes.
Because we were switching to vertical and then couldn't upload it at all.
Again, like
such a pain.
This is a 2-woman team.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think about these people out here with the podcast and all the production.
I'm like half a woman. So.
Well, yeah, it's a 1.5 woman team. And the people that we are up against and fighting for the listeners
and their viewership,
they
and
have so much production. They have so much of the tech on their side. We are out here making it work. Yeah. Just the 1.5 of us.
1.5 of us at 40 and a half.
40 and a half. We're 40 and a half.
Yeah, we don't have the youth on our side. We don't have a team on our side.
No.
We don't have production value and gobs of money on our side.
No.
We don't like this. This is it.
This is it. This is me.
Yeah. Nail me on the cross. Like
this is my body. Okay. This is me.
Look at her shirt too, by the way. It's so amazing. If this isn't the truest of all truths, she is wearing a mesh turtleneck.
Yeah.
With
a
mountain scene going all the way. It could be Alaska. Honestly.
Oh,
it could be Alaska.
This might be. I will do a reverse Google image search.
I know you will.
I know you will.
I don't doubt it one bit.
If this is Alaska,
we've spoken it in.
Then
we might as well go.
We will be operating on a level of podcasting that no one has ever touched before. Forget it. No one will have ever reached the level of nirvana if this is Alaska. Forget it.
We always talk about, I was talking to Alex about it this past week, and my cousin Alex came in to visit this past weekend, so I got to spend some time with her, and she has something that I compare to my friend Allison as well. You know Allison, Ernie Rushing Allison.
Oh, yes, it's Allison Dothy.
Yeah, Allison Dothy. And so she, Allison Dotsie is one of those people who is like, I have like the most phenomenal, unique thing of all time of whatever it is. So she will say something like, my gynecologist told me that I have the most beautiful cervix she's ever seen. Like literally ever. Like I have the most beautiful cervix. And Alex is so similar. Alex is the same way. And I'm just like, and now you are like, we are the best podcast in the history of podcasts just based on this Alaska shirt. If it's Alaska, but this, so she's wearing this, and then I'm in a white t-shirt.
You're serving a Luke in your white tee that Lance Bass is trying to steal your look, and I can't. I'm mad. Because here's what's going on. Y'all ready? Lance Bass, he's been dabbling in the purples. He's been dabbling in the violets. He for, let's say, a few weeks. Okay?
Yeah.
That's fine. You're not the first person.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
But he came out at the VMAs
Yeah.
with it the exact purple that you have.
I see you, Lance.
The exact purple, the same haircut.
Yeah.
And I'm going, what are you trying to pull?
Yeah. Are you watching us? And if you are, like, please tell us if you guys are going to be at the Super Bowl or not.
Right.
That's all we're asking for. Like, give us a
we
little
think
insider.
it's Super Bowl?
Absolutely. I think
we don't know if we don't think it's reunion tour. We think it's Super Bowl.
I think that reunion tour could potentially come as a side note, but I believe that it's going to be Boyz II Men, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys at the Super Bowl, and they said and more, and that and more, it better be New Kids on the Block. And if it is, this will be the best Super Bowl of all time for me. For you,
I have the chills.
Right,
Yes,
absolutely.
I have the chills.
Head to toe chills. I want that, and I was telling Tiffany about this because she would do anything to see NSYNC as well. We've both seen the same NSYNC show, tour, I should say, way back in my college days, and I think that the Justin Timberlake Lance Bass story should be our clutter.
Oh yes!
Don't you think that'd be good?
Oh my gosh, yes! People need to know this story, and I want to rehear it.
Yeah,
because I know it
so good,
but I'm ready to rehear it.
Yeah,
Miranda's storytelling. There is none better.
Thank you.
There is none better. Matt and I were saying that yesterday.
Wow.
He said there's none better who can tell a story. And it's the truth. And that's why I've hitched my wagon to your wagon so that we can get it out here into the world.
You are incredible at it too. And it takes one to know one.
No.
Yes, it does.
This is a 1.5 woman show. And your half is storytelling.
It's storytelling. But you're pulling the one in every other way. I'm just here to tell the stories, but you are pulling the one in every other way. Like I'm like, hey, I'm ready to hitch on. I'm just hitching on to you. And we're riding off into the sunset. So if we're hitched on to each other, great. Yeah,
as long as we aren't ever pulling in the opposite direction, hitched.
Okay.
Then one of us will be leading.
I have seen the movie Hitch.
Okay, that's a great movie.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Okay, that's good.
And I just thought that needed.
Yay. She did it.
I have seen it. And it's really cute and funny.
That's good. And also has Will Smith.
Who's in Independence Day.
Yes. Okay.
I know pop cultural references. You know this. If I'm at a trivia, I can name the movies. I can tell you the year that they came out. I just haven't seen them.
I think that you actually would really like Independence Day.
Well, we almost rode Men in Black.
Yeah.
At Horror Nights. We're getting to it. Sorry, guys.
Okay. So if we have to say this, though. We got to talk about it. Speaking of story time. We get on the plane. We rode Spirit. It was my first time on Spirit. Shout out Spirit.
It was great.
It was great.
I
was very pleased with my flight. I didn't know what to expect. I've seen a lot of viral videos with fights on Spirit and all body fluids and all the things. But this was a great flight.
Great flight.
Everyone on the flight was great, except for the people sitting behind us. Okay. So this is going to be a teachable moment. And what I'm just going to say about it is this.
I'm twitching.
Okay. What I'm going to say about it is this. I don't like people that harm, abuse, or are mean to children. I don't like it.
Cosign.
And I'm sure a lot of us feel that way.
Yes.
But it really gets to me when I feel that a child is being yelled at unnecessarily, hurt emotionally, just never taken care of in that way, and treated like the precious, precious child that they are. It triggers me. Okay. And I think we were seeing some of that behind us. Yeah.
A family clearly on their way to Disney, the happiest place on earth, but they just had to, get there first. And they were going to have to suffer the entire way to get there. And what essentially happened is a family, mom, dad, with 2 grandmas.
Mom, dad, and 2 grandmas. So 4 adults.
4 adults, 2 kids.
Yeah.
2 children. And I would say about 3 and 6 years old.
Yes.
Are the guesses here for these children.
Yes.
And they took up the entire row, right? They had 3 seats here, 3 seats here.
Yes.
And I guess it had been predetermined before they got on the plane that grandmas were going to sit on one side with the older child.
With Lamb.
And the parents were going to sit on the other side with the younger child.
With Anne.
Yeah. So Anne and Lamb are now their names because they have such Southern sounding parents that's how it comes out.
Anne and Lamb.
Anne and Lamb.
Okay.
And that's what we're sticking with.
We're going to stick with that.
Okay.
There's a fly in here. The Mike
Yeah.
Pence fly is about to land on my forehead.
And then we'll zoom in on it and make a meme.
If it does,
Yep.
you ready?
Yeah, be ready for some social media memes. So mom and dad are sitting with the younger, grandmas are sitting with the older, and this deeply bothered younger Anne.
Younger
Okay.
Anne
Yep.
wanted time with specifically one of the grandmas.
One of the grandmas.
Yeah.
Not the other grandma. And made that clear.
Yeah.
Yep. Everyone did.
Yeah.
And the parents, instead of making that very special, apparently, grandma sit in the middle and put each child on the side of her and move other grandma over to them.
Right.
They decided to let all hell break loose on this plane.
Yes.
Behind us,
Yes.
by the way. Behind our seat. And this child cried from the moment he walked on the plane until the moment they landed. And just,
and that's the thing. I will say this kid, 4 years old, we think.
Yeah, 3 or 4,
was not screaming, crying. He was almost whimpering. He was truly sad. He was sad that the decision had been made for Lamb to be with the two grandmas, and he was stuck between his parents. Oh, it just landed on my finger.
Why can't Anne, younger?
Yes.
Why are we saying, so they were like, you'll get to ride with her on the way back. Yeah. When we're done with this whole thing, you'll get to ride with her. Shut up. Yeah. And they were saying, shut up to a child.
They, over and over, shut up, as he's kind of whimpering. And what you said is, I just want to give him a hug. If someone would just give him a hug and explain to him.
Let's de-escalate.
Yeah.
It's time to de-escalate the situation. Number one, you don't tell the younger child, the more immature younger child who can't think that far in advance.
Can't understand.
You don't tell him on the way back you'll be with her. Instead, the older child, I believe, pro tip, should have said, hey, you understand this a little bit more. We're going to have Anne ride with Gigi.
Yep.
And then you're on the way back. We'll put you next to Gigi. Or I don't know, put Gigi in the middle of these two kids.
That's right.
The other grandma over.
Yeah.
I do not know what was happening, why we couldn't come to this solution. But don't worry, both the parents just got the buzz kills and
they did. They just started drinking.
Kind of ignore it all, I guess. I don't know. I just wanted to turn around and say, I could fix this in about 2 minutes.
We could fix it.
And you can start by just sitting him up to me and I'm just going to give him a hug because he's deeply sad about this. And you aren't addressing the deep sadness he's having about this.
You're telling him to shut up.
You're just telling him to shut up.
Y'all, it made my skin crawl.
And I kept looking back through. So I could see his eyes. So I would kind of look back through my seat like this and we'd catch eyes and I would just kind of be like,
oh, just
like kind of
the sympathy eyes.
Just give him the sympathy eyes, like, honey, I hear you. And we don't know what happened before this. I don't know if they've had a really rough time with him, if he has come in being a terror. I don't know.
Well, I can tell you what I do know is this. What I know is this for sure, because of how it unfolded, is that they did not, prior to getting on the plane, have the conversation to say, hey, family of 6, here's how the seating arrangement's going to look. Buddy, I want you to go ahead and know right now that your brother's going to sit with Gigi and you're going to have it on the way back. There was they literally just clomped onto the plane and plopped him down.
Yep.
And without warning, he's nowhere near his Gigi and he starts to sniffle and feel sad about it. Understandably, because you did not give him a heads up. It's just like when you have to leave the house. Give your kids a heads up.
Yeah.
Say, hey,
leaving in 5 minutes.
Leaving in 2 minutes.
Shoes on.
Instead of just ripping them out from what they're doing and walking out.
Stop what you're doing. Come upstairs right now.
Yeah. That's not going to work for kids. It just doesn't. So you got to give them a heads up. Give them a warning. And you could tell they had not done that. And so the parents created the problem. And that is what I want to get across here.
And then they didn't get any, and then every chance that they had to make a right decision.
Yes. They would do the wrong thing.
The absolute most wrong
because
thing.
Because they don't have it. Y'all. This kid finally kind of just gets into his iPad.
Well, no, remember they made Lamb give up his game to placate Anne. Lamb had to give up his game. Hey, Lamb, can you tell Gigi to hand you over the thing? The
Come
gang
on,
said
give
your
him-
brother can just give it to him because he's so upset that he can't sit.
Yes.
It's like the entire plane is like, we got it.
You got it. The Chuggington game.
Got
on the iPad. Give him the Chuggington game, Lamb.
Yeah, and it's like, well, maybe Lamb could still have his chugging. So now you're making each child give up something for the other, and you need to do this, and you need to do
And
that.
so finally, Anne gets into the Chuggington game and like kind of chills out. And then the dad's like, buddy, you doing all right? You
Hey.
still feeling sad about that?
Hey, Anne, do you remember 10 minutes ago when you were crying about not being able to sit next to Gigi? Yeah, well, how do you feel about that? And I'm like,
It's over.
it's
He's forgotten. Move on. You and your wife keep bringing it up to this 3-year-old kid.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
and then Mom would go, Steven, just drive.
Save
Just drive it.
Save it.
Just drive it. I'm like, it's a house of horrors. It's a
Never.
house of horrors. This was worse. This was more horrifying than anything we saw at Halloween
It
Horror
was.
Nights. Just know that.
It was. And I think I did say out loud, I didn't know the haunted houses would begin here now.
Yeah, this
But-
is
but
it.
Here we are.
This is it. This
Watching
is it.
People make horrible parenting decisions. And guess what? I know we sound really judgy.
And
I am.
Yeah.
I'm judging them.
Yeah.
Because I saw how it unfolded. I saw how you talked to your kids and that you told them to shut up repeatedly. So I am judging you for that.
Stop.
Thank you so much.
Shut up. Stop those tears. You shut up and stop crying. The other thing that they did, and this is my number one rule in parenting, please hear me say this. And we have all made mistakes. I have done stuff in public, and I bet if any of y'all caught me doing something on a bad day, I'm sure you can judge me all you want to. But here's what I'm going to give you a real good tip here. If your child is escalated,
Yeah.
and you think that the right thing to do is now we're going to give them an ultimatum, right?
Oh, I forgot about this. I forgot.
Let me tell you what's never going to work. So he's crying hysterically. Everyone is trying to take their seats. They are playing roulette, all the things.
Yeah, switching to chairs.
And-
yeah.
And well, do you want to do that? Well, Lamb, if you would give it up for Anne and all the things, okay? And everyone's just trying to get theirs on the plane. And I don't know if it was mom or dad or both, probably, but they said, if you don't stop your crying, we're going to get you off this plane and take you home, and you're not going to go to Disney.
Are y'all really gonna do that? You gonna get off the plane before the doors close? You're gonna get off the plane?
Steven, you're going to take Anne off the plane. You're going right home. You're willing to give up all the money you paid to go to Disney, right? And you're going to send your other kid with your wife and both grandmas still to take his butt home.
It ain't happening, Steven.
No, you're not.
Stop lying, Steven. And guess who else who knows you're lying?
Anne
knows that you're not going to do that.
No,
like
you're not.
The kids know that you're not going to take away Christmas. The kids know you're not going to take away Disneyland.
You're not.
They know it.
So don't give empty threats and then wonder, why didn't my kid take me seriously? Why didn't he stop crying? Because he knew you were taking him off the plane, Steve.
Because of John 8:44. How many times do I have to say it?
Yes, obviously because of John 8:44.
You are the liar and father of all lies. When you lie, you speak your native tongue, Stephen.
Yes, Stephen. And so now it's actually Stephen 8:44. And
That's right. That's right.
I'm not allowed to do that, am I? Change up the verses.
Well, Stephen is a biblical name.
I know it is.
So I feel like
he was not acting like it. So of course Anne doesn't stop crying. And then that becomes a whole thing. Well, you're not listening to me and everything. Just please give your child a discipline related to, give them a consequence related to whatever it is that is happening at that moment.
Correct.
Now, this was not a place to even give a consequence, in my opinion, because he actually hadn't done anything wrong. He was just having an emotional response to a surprise thing that was upsetting him. All you got to do, just pull him in, hold him tight. I know it's really sad that you don't get to sit next to Gigi. Once we get seated and the plane gets lifted off and we can take off our seatbelts, maybe we can see if Lamb is willing to shift around or if other grandma can come over and Gigi can go in the middle. We'll figure it out, but there's just too much going on right now.
Or say, you know what, buddy? I am so excited that I get to sit next to you. And so maybe we can do something fun on my phone. Like maybe I could download like a new game real quick on my phone.
Yeah, you've been asking about that thing that we've been playing.
And, make it exciting that he gets to sit next to his parents.
There could have been a million ways to do this besides just shouting, shut up to your kid. Please, if you're doing that, just say,
please stop.
Shush, hush, let's calm down. Please be quiet.
And we all have our, like you said, we all have our moments.
Yes.
We do things that maybe we regret with kids.
I had to apologize to my kid, to Lily yesterday morning or 2 days ago.
I apologize to my kids like once a week.
I had to apologize to her because I totally flew off the handle about something. And I knew that this was more an emotional response I was having instead of her. And And it was all the bad things happening at the exact same moment. And I just powder keg exploded.
Yeah.
And so I had to apologize. And I just think that we have to be willing to like be sorry when we know that we've screwed up. And that way we model it for our kids so that they'll then be apologetic.
That's right.
And have some remorse when they screw up. But in this case, this kid, it really hadn't seemed like he had screwed up at all. And it was totally handled in the wrong way. And so these are teachable moments. Are we being judgy? Yes. Are we also trying to have teachable moments so that this doesn't happen again to any of our podcasts? Also, yes.
Yes.
And that's
but
okay.
I don't want any of our podcasts to ever be these kind of parents. I'm just going to say that. And I know that y'all aren't. No. I know that you're not.
Pause in.
And so pause in. Say not terrible parents.
Not terrible parents.
Okay. I know that y'all aren't, but maybe your sister-in-law is, or maybe you see a friend, or maybe you can help lead and teach people.
I was this close to thinking we were on like John Kionis, What Would You Do?
I know. It was that bad.
I'm like, do I go back there and literally pick up this child and breastfeed him? I don't know, but like I need to comfort him immediately.
It did feel like
and I was feeling a little bit like that. It was very bizarre.
And we were trying to chat and neither one of us could even
They were screaming so loudly that I could not talk to Kristen sitting next to me over their voices. Yeah. That's how intense it was.
It was a lot. Y'all.
And so I don't know. I'm kind of curious. Like, what would other podcasts have said something? Like,
I wonder.
Also, keep in mind, we are on a plane. We are stuck in this bubble. We cannot escape. So if we were to say something, and then this is where the fights on Spirit come from.
Yeah, and listen, that's true.
It happens. It happens on every airline. It really does. But to your point, you said 10 minutes ago, which is like I say the fights. This is maybe where they were coming from.
That makes sense.
If you would have said something.
Oh, they would have flown off. I knew these were people not to mess with.
No, the aggression.
Would we bring it and could we hold our own? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. But do I want to do that in a plane?
I'll take my hoops out. I'll go toe to toe with you. But it wasn't worth it. Even though my heart was breaking for that kid.
Yeah, my heart was breaking for him. So all we can do now is, again, teachable moments going forward. Let's try to be better.
Yes.
Let's not act that way. And then if we do see that happening with someone who's dearly close to us, that we can kind of like, hey, have you thought about trying it this way or doing it this way? Let's try to do that a little bit more if you feel comfortable enough doing it, because it's not the kid's fault.
It's
these kids were good boys.
Were good boys. They really didn't.
They were good boys. This was definitely, I felt like, just brought on by the parents. And I also know going to Disney is stressful.
It is.
But it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun. But I know it can be stressful, and it's all the things, and it's the packing, and I'm sure it was an early morning, and I'm sure you forgot something, and then Gigi was late, and then and I get it. And it's this. But if you talk that way to your kids in public on a plane,
that's what it is.
I'm curious what that is in the privacy of your own home. And that is where I am being a little bit judgy, and I will admit it.
Yeah, that's fine. But you know what this did get us talking about, because they were so loud, was our grandma names that we want to have.
Oh, and my gosh.
I was like, I feel like you could be a MawMaw.
I don't know where in the fresh hell you ever thought that I would allow MawMaw. We're talking about W's at the end of those.
I wrote this down, y'all, because I was like, MawMaw. I think when you're older.
Why? What about me was giving MawMaw? No, look, even the train has something to say about the train just showed up. The train went, her. No.
It's a loud one today. It's the train.
It's as if
it's going like this.
It's an X for the train.
I just think
MawMaw. Have you ever heard me be Southern in my life about any kind of nickname, moniker, anything? Have you ever even heard me say the word ain't in my life?
But
never.
I feel like a MawMaw is someone that is sitting on the front porch. They've made a batch of tea.
Okay.
They're cooking up the dumplings for the people.
Okay.
You are giving MawMaw energy in your actions. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily in your vocals. Okay. But I feel like a MawMaw is a safe place. They've got a bosom you want to rest on.
That's true.
And I know many people that want to rest on your bosom.
So many people, but it is shrinking. The gaping, this is the gape in my bra.
Oh my God.
But they're still good. I'll show you. They're still good. The nipples are like shrinking down to size. Yes, like everything's in proportion.
You've always had very naturally lifted.
Great boobs.
Tatas.
Great boobs. Yeah. I've always loved my boobs.
And I feel like a mama, even as she gets older, has a bust.
A bosom.
That looks like a soft place to land.
Yeah.
For Anne and Lamb when they're sad.
You have done an incredible job of walking yourself out of this. An incredible job. But I would never in my life go by MawMaw.
Okay, but you're going to go by Oma.
Yeah, I'll be an Oma. Like my mom's an Oma. My Oma's an Oma. She's the best Oma to my girls. So yeah, Oma is a traditional name.
Do you remember what I said I want to be?
Gams. Gams. With an S.
Gams.
Gams.
Don't I look like a Gams?
You've got great gams.
Here's my gams.
Yeah, so gams are also legs. For those who now we're gonna have to charge. This is gonna be behind a paywall now.
Y'all, gams.
So legs back in the day were called gams. They were like, that's just a nice way of saying someone has a really great leg.
Now I tried to give my mother the name Gams when we announced to them that we were having our baby, first grandbaby.
Because you were the first grandbaby on that side, yeah.
We gave little onesies, like for them to open, for my sister to open, mom and dad, and we had put, their grandparent names that we had selected on there, and I put Gams for my mom because I just thought Pam. Gams,
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And she wasn't a fan, so she went with Nana. I do think she is a Nana as well, but I still like her.
I could have seen her as Gams, though, and I definitely see you as Gams.
Thank you.
Can I tell you a sweet little grandma nickname story?
Yes.
Okay, so when I was at Appalachian, shocker, when I was taking sign language class, my teacher, yes, I was a sign language interpreter for a while as well, another random job, just
so many jobs.
Tick on the old bedpost, I don't know, to add to the list. But my teacher, she got into sign language because she ended up having a son who was deaf.
Okay.
And so she had to learn the language and all the things. And so she said, it was just very important to me that like we never took the sound of noise for granted again.
Sure.
Once you have a child who's deaf. And so she said when it came time to do her grandma name, that she decided to go by Lala so that as all the little voices, whether boys or girls, would say her name, it would sound like music. And so la 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 la. She said because you don't know how beautiful music is until you maybe can't ever hear it again, or you never get to hear it. And so she would never take that for granted. So she had her grandkids call her Lala. And so there was a little part of me that's like, ooh, that story has stuck with me for so long that if like, let's say my sister becomes a grandma first and she wants Oma or something, I don't know. Do we both do Oma or do we do something different? And if that were to be the case, if I couldn't have Oma, then I would maybe do Lala just because that story
my sister is Aunt Lala.
Yeah,
so maybe that could be her grandma name.
It would be a perfect grandma name for her.
But that's why MawMaw works for you because you're Mandy, M-A.
I'm Mira, number one, and maybe we'll go by Mira as my grandma name.
Grandma Mira.
That's when I could always come back with the Mira.
I'm not mad at it at all.
Okay. It's what I'm saying is it's not ever going to be MawMaw. You can go ahead and scratch it.
Okay, we'll see about that.
And if you say MawMaw again.
Say MawMaw one more time.
Say MawMaw one more time. Have y'all seen that Chick-fil-A meme? Yeah. It is so freaking funny. Say Chick-fil-A one more time. You send it to me every once in a while, and it makes me
so
laugh so hard. It's so funny.
Okay, so guys,
we have no more time.
Listen, we got this. We made it to Orlando,
SeaWorld, and Disney, and Putt
golfing.
Book of Mormon. And I bought an Orlando sweatshirt.
You did.
And I brought it in my car, but I was so hot I couldn't wear it in.
It's so cute. It's light purple. It looks so good with
my hair. So
cute. Okay, so we made it. We stayed at the Portofino, which was life-changing for me. I have not stopped talking about it since I got home. Told Matt all about it. Then I told each kid individually about it. Then I talked about it together as a whole family.
Yeah, Lowe's Portofino Bay is where we ended up staying this time. And it's got a whole, I can't say it. It has a whole Italy vibe.
And I love Italy. One of my favorite trips we've ever taken. So maybe that's what it is. It was.
She's been there, so she was able to say like, "Oh,
it really was giving me the vibe.
It was giving her the vibe." Yeah,
awesome. And I loved the little water taxi that took us straight over to Universal. That was a hop, skip, and a jump. I loved
the fact that you've never taken a water taxi. I've never taken a water taxi. They go from all the resorts to all the resorts. It's so great.
Oh,
even for Disney.
I was a fan.
Yeah, it's great.
We had a nice little meal down at the little bar and grill. Y'all know I like a bar and grill. How many times do I have to say it? There was no E on the grill. It was GRILL, no E. But we're trying to do, I think, such an Italian vibe that it wasn't giving the grill.
It made sense. Yeah. It made sense. It was fine, but it was delicious. We had great salads, great meatballs.
Yes, great meatballs.
Oh, let's talk about the tendiness of those
the meat. And what was it on?
It was on polenta.
Oh,
but doused in sauce, so that polenta stayed nice and creamy. You had that beautiful acidic tomato sauce. The meatballs were so tender,
fall apart tender. Fall apart.
Just that fork barely had to touch it, and it just splits open.
That's when you know it's a good meatball.
It was so great. A little bit of crostini served with it, but it was actually soft, so it didn't tear up the roof of your mouth.
Yes, y'all know we don't like.
I had a citrus salad with leeks.
I had a Caesar salad. No croutons again because don't rip up the roof of my mouth.
We don't need it.
Oh, it was really don't. And I had that lavender drink, which you didn't mind.
Yeah. Typically, I don't want my drinks to taste like Bath and Body Works lotion options or soap.
Yeah, or a garden.
Or a garden. So don't fancy it up. You don't have to do that for me. I just want, if I'm going to have a cocktail, vodka, soda, pineapple with a lime, and I'm good.
Yeah.
But they just try to fancy things up a little too much for me at these places, and I get it. That way you can get away with charging $16 to $18. But I don't need elderberry. I'm so sick of Saint Germain elderberry syrup and everything.
You don't want it.
I don't want
You're not impressed.
I'm not. We don't need lavender. We don't need cucumber. We don't need rosemary. We don't need blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, just straight up give it to me and charge me $4.
Meanwhile, I want all of those things. Yeah. If you just batch it like a witch's cauldron and putting all that in there, mixing it up and pouring it in my glass, you can charge me $16.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we know that you have no problem with any amount of money being charged if you want it in the gullet.
If I want it, I'm going to have it. So
I want it.
I like it.
I got it. Yep.
Ariana Grande.
She literally has it tattooed.
Yeah.
Here.
So we consumed all of that.
Yeah.
Fun fact, that was the last thing we ate, and we did not eat again for almost 24 hours.
Yeah. And at some point I said to Kristen, I gotta eat. Like my shot's worn off. It's gone. I'm Sunday to Sunday. It's Monday now. I didn't bring my shot with me. You gotta feed me. I'm just kidding. It doesn't actually work like that.
I know,
much
but
to the minute. But I was like, my stomach will eventually growl, and I had to imagine little skinny Minnie. Her stomach had to be growling at some point.
We got so far into the fasting of it without meaning to that I had reached again that nirvana state.
Yes.
That I even when you were like, we gotta go, I was like, do we need to eat?
I said, can we look for room service? Like anything? And she did. Then she looked for Uber Eats to see if they would deliver to us. She tried all the things.
I tried.
And then she said, I
were trying to just lay in bed. We really wanted to lay in bed in the cool, dark room, not have to leave.
Honestly, it was 9/11.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to have some introspective, quiet, emotional moments. So we turned on the History Channel. Then we switched over to Discovery. We were watching several things about just people's stories. Then we watched about the buildings, and we were in our feels. We were just like, we giggled right before we fell asleep because we were still on, Halloween Horror Nights and Sister Wives Cross-Eyed time.
Yes.
And then once we finally, sort of woke up because I didn't sleep, but she did a bit. Then I said, hey, it's 9/11. Like, we need to be reverent at this point. And we did all of that, and we spent hours watching and crying and talking and sharing. And, we didn't know each other then, but it was like, I was telling her about when I went to New York City and saw the Twin Towers in real life, and just, I knew how iconic they were, and you had only seen them in movies. And we just talked a lot about where we were and where, how we saw it all go down and what we truly felt had kind of happened. And so it was nice to have that time together. And then I said, feed me, Seymour. But really, like, let's get out. We've got to come out from the darkness. Yes. We need to come back into the light.
We were, and like the shades were drawn. It was just dark in there.
Yeah. So we were dark, cold, reverent,
Yeah.
sad, and then said, now let's like go live our lives like these people would, want us to do.
Correct.
Like we are here. We need to finish
we
up
woke
this
up
script
today, so let's live our lives.
We woke up today. We're very grateful for that. We are extremely grateful for people for having our lives. And so let's go live them. So that's what we decided to do.
So we really lived it up at the parks.
Yeah.
The night before. Yeah. I had never done Halloween Horror Nights. She had.
Yes.
And Matt has done it, I think, a couple of times. So I've got these people in my life saying, you gotta go, you gotta go. So we were so excited to go with Josie.
Yeah, Josie, the style hostess, our travel agent, who's also doing the cruise. She, what was I going to say? Well, first of all, I think it'd be fun. Never mind. Pause.
Where you taking a pee-pee?
I'm so thirsty that I'm literally entertaining people on YouTube.
Hey, YouTubers. It's me, Chrissy T. Let me show you a
little bit of that Alaska
teat.
Yeah, Alaska teat. Well, this might be what's the bonus for the YouTube people, because you'll edit this out for the audio people, but YouTubers, they might get a little bit of extra.
A little behind the scenes.
So yes, Josie, the style hostess, she's our travel agent. She's also the one doing the cruise for us, is who had us down there at Universal. And so she does Horror Nights a lot. She's who brought me down a couple of years ago to do it. Kristen had always wanted to do it, and I was shooketh because I didn't know Kristen could be spooked and frightened. I don't know why I didn't know that. I think we love Halloween so much.
I'm the Halloween queen.
Yeah.
Josie and I.
Yes.
And I'm willing to share.
Yeah.
This
because you both do a great job.
This isn't Lisa Barlow at Sundance Festival.
Absolutely not.
I can share.
You're not the only person who knows of Sundance.
That's right.
Yes.
So, but it's funny, like, I don't mind scary movies. I don't mind scary things. I don't mind being spooked. I don't mind having a fright. But also, it's not that I'm just stoically walking through and not going to react. I'm going to scream. Yeah. I'm going to be startled.
Yeah.
And here's what I said to Matt. We would be walking through. She's, of course, in the front.
Yeah.
Just Deb is leading us.
Yeah.
Mira.
Yeah.
Deb Miller is leading us through the haunted houses. She's unaffected. She's not scared. She's not spooked. She sees it coming from a mile away.
Yeah. I laugh the whole time. Yeah. I'm truly there for production value.
Yes. She would feel the sets. She would touch the fabric.
Yeah. I like to see what everything's made out of. Is the set of stairs truly made out of MDF wood, or we know no one's walking up them. They're just there for effect. So I'm just saying, are we using styrofoam because it's lighter, it's cheaper and more affordable? I just love production of any kind. It's like the former, broadcaster, I guess, in me is just to see like the production. I like to see how the sausage is made. Yes. Everything. Yes. I want to go on a tour. I want to, like, at the Coors factory, I'm not sitting there drinking beer. I'm seeing how the beer is made.
Correct.
So I love to do that. So that's how I'm walking through them. I also know where everyone is jumping out of at any time.
Yes.
And I'm not a startled person in general. And so I lead them all through. This one behind me, Big Red, is I mean, every time I still have a bruise on my arm from, when I ran into a corner. That's on me. But then she wouldn't stop grabbing it with her. Have you seen these fingers?
These grippers right here?
These grippers right here. She can really get in there.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So but I was happy to be the one
to be that one for me.
Of course.
But imagine you're coming along. I've seen the person jump out.
At like the group before us.
The group before us. I've seen where they're coming. I see what they look like. Okay. So I know we're going through, but I think it's the anticipation of it for me, y'all, because I'm going through and I'm like,
yeah,
they're going to come out. I know they are.
Are they going to come out on me? Are they going to come out on Josie? Are they going to come out on Leanne?
But the way that they do it, they have timed it so perfectly with the music that's playing and the lights that are going to flash.
Yes.
That it's not just some random guy in Gastonia in like a cornfield maze jumping out at you. We are talking Universal Studios level production and cast members.
Not the Gastonia.
I'm just saying, it's not like someone going, it's a guy jumping out who looks like a mushroom who has
a killer mushroom,
has a flashing light and a scream that's echoing throughout,
and a lightning bolt that's going to hit at the exact moment. Then there's going to be something under your feet that bangs up where your foot is. And Kristen couldn't help, even though she just watched the group ahead of her go through this. Then this guy is going to, here comes the music, it's going to happen, and then she's, I mean, every single time I said, Kristen, I just said he's coming up behind you in 3, 2, 1. I'm like, okay. Well, and so at some point I decide I don't need to be her hero anymore. I am no longer the bodyguard.
No.
She is no longer Whitney Houston.
No.
I am no longer Kevin Costner. Okay. And I started to say to the people, get her. Get her. Get her.
Get her. Here she comes. Because they want the people who are kind of, they
want a reaction.
I'm hunched over. I'm kind of holding my hands in close like this. It's that instinct to protect yourself. So I'm just slowly clumping through.
Meanwhile, I'm like this.
Yeah. She's looking around. She's yawning.
I was yawning some. I was tired. But it's fine.
But it got me every time. Every single house. I was, even the animatronic Chuckies. I still was startled by them. Coming out with a knife.
It's not a real person. It's just a Chucky doll. And she's like, I know.
The production was working on me.
Incredible production values in every house. So good. Unmasked was incredible. The Last of Us, Stranger Things, all of the typical homes were incredible.
How many did we do?
We did 8 out of 10.
We did a lot.
We did 8 out of 10. So I had to be gripped 8 houses. Is what everyone's putting that together. Yeah, that's why I'm still bruised. Thank you. Some arnica might help. Arnica cream. And but it was so much fun to go through them. I love Halloween Horror Nights. And then also, so it's not just the houses. Some of the rides are open. If you have an express pass for the haunted houses, that express pass is also a fast pass for the rides.
Yes.
That is a huge pro tip.
Yes.
And then
you've spent the money on that and it's pricey.
You might as well do it all while you're there.
Do it all.
Get there a little bit early, like 6:37. Start doing some of the rides before it gets dark.
Yeah.
And then start doing some of the homes and then still do some of the rides. And it's so great. Now, not all the rides are open, but some of them are.
Yeah.
And then another thing to remember. Oh, okay. And then they have what they're called fright zones. So when you're walking through the main streets of Universal, and it's on the Universal Studio side, not the Islands of Adventure.
Yeah.
But when you're walking through those main ones, it's kind of lit up on the ground. They have lights flashing down, and that denotes what a fright zone is. And in those fright zones, they have themes.
Yeah.
And so one of the themes was kind of groovy zombie 70s, 60s vibe.
Yeah.
And so it's all the people with frozen bell bottoms and peace signs walking through. And you can almost be convinced that someone might have just dressed that way. And so they'll just be walking next to you. And that's when they're really good. Okay.
When they're just walking next to you and you think they're a park patron.
Yeah. And then they go, bow, like that. And I mean, Kristen's like, every time. So they have people with chainsaws who could be, chasing you.
The chainsaw people, the people on the stilts.
They have stilt walkers coming around, and everyone is allowed to get close to you. They cannot touch you,
but they can get
get right up on you. They can stare you down. They can walk with you. They can kind of slink and creep behind you if they want. And so just be prepared for that. Now, if you are not in that lit up fright zone down on the ground on Main Street, you can go up on the sidewalks and still get through to all the places, and no one is allowed to come up to you.
That's right.
So you can still do it in a non-frightening, safe way if you are someone who is very, very scared. But I would say if you are someone who is very scared, don't go down.
Because the point of the haunted houses is to be scary. And speaking of the production value of it, some of these houses, it looks like a murder scene.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's incredible. I mean, it
truly, a lot of them. It was very much
it's graphic and gory.
It's graphic, and because that's what it's supposed to be. That's why you're there.
Or if you're someone who if you believe that looking at demons, if something like that, if that's a moral conflict for you, you will be encountering stuff like that. Not demonic in the sense of none of it's real.
None of it's,
but it's a theme.
None of it's giving religion. It's just giving the look of.
But there were things with stained glasses that were to replicate chapels, and then there was a bleeding heart. There are going to be some things like that. So honestly, if you're someone who none of this sounds up your alley,
but demons walk among us now.
Yeah, of course, everybody. We know this. They're in the grocery store next to us.
Yeah, the demons are here.
So demons are here.
So maybe it's good to be reminded and to see the demons dressed in Universal Studios so that we can maybe check our hearts.
Yeah. And Kristen came out of some of them praying.
Yeah.
She was like, okay, Lord, be with me for this next house. Be my shield, be my whatever. What do you say?
I loved it.
Yeah, you loved it though. You ate it.
I really did. Like
that will be like, you got to go back.
Yes. Again, some people really are frightened and spooked, but in a way that they don't want to be.
Right.
I like
Wendy.
that girl. Wendy, who we were with.
Wendy, who owns 101 Vacations Travel, dear, sweet friend, Wendy.
So
I adore her. I love her so much. Genuine salt to the earth kind of person.
Yes.
She is deeply frightened and scared by many, many things.
Yes.
And so she was trying to meet us, and she had to call Josie at one point and said, you need to walk to me because I'm too scared to walk alone anymore, just through the park up on the sidewalk.
I know.
So she did get very scared. So there's someone like her, and we did get her through a haunted house because I am extremely persuasive.
Yes, you are.
Extremely.
And she did it. I was so proud. And it was a great one.
It was a great one. She got such a good one. Oh. So she did go through it, and then she said, that is it. That is it. Mm-hmm. You got me one and done. I'm not going on any rides. I'm leaving. So she bought a whole ticket just to come and take a picture with us, walk through one house. But so she knows herself well enough to know this is not my vibe.
Yeah.
This is not my vibe. It's not for her. And that's okay. It doesn't need to be for everybody.
Now, are they doing it through the weeknights? Is it in the weeknights?
Yeah. That I think that they do it. I don't think that it's just relegated to the weekends, but double check. But if you are wanting to book, just contact the style hostess on Instagram.
Yeah, she'll hook you up.
Josie will take care of booking the tickets and getting you the places to stay and everything.
Yes.
And again, free to use a travel agent, so you might as well. That is, Universal is the one who's going to give her a kickback, but they don't increase your price to do so. Right. But also now you just don't have to worry about handling any of the crap that goes into having to call and book. And
she has done this so much now. Like,
she's still down there right now.
Yeah, it's down to a science. Exactly. Yeah. She's still down there now.
She's still down there. So if there's something she needed to even like look up very quickly, she could. Well, she will be back by then, but you know what I'm saying. She has all the resources to figure out all the answers to the questions you may need.
It was the best.
Can't recommend it enough. I think it is so much fun.
Finally got to ride the mummy.
I finally got to ride the mummy because, fun fact, if you go to an amusement park with me, you will have rides break on you because I have that good luck. And so we've been to Universal twice. Both times the mummy has broken down while in queue, in line, almost gotten up to the ride. And so I've never actually been able to ride it, even though everything looks familiar. I'm like, oh yeah. Oh, it looks familiar because I've done all of this. I just have never actually successfully gotten on the ride and ridden it to completion. So that was very exciting. My family will love it. I can't wait to bring them back. But yeah, nearly every ride breaks when I'm on it.
It's so crazy.
I've had it break Test Track at Disney.
Oh, and I love Test Track.
I know, Test Track's awesome. And it broke while we were inside on an incline. Broke so badly that they had to, turn on all the lights, walk all of us off the ride, and go down all of the steps all through inside of it. And so they gave us a fast pass to come back later that day. And it was kind of cool to see, again, how the sausage is made. So I got to see all of that. And Denny filmed everything. We pretended we were doing a Blair Witch thing while we were still stuck inside of there. And that was very fun. And you got to meet my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and niece, and her new boyfriend, Matt, who I really liked.
Yeah, they were great. It was we had honestly such a great day the next day. Like you said, we
were at the pool. We finally made our way to the pool, the bar and grill there at the pool.
My burger, I don't think I really said it out loud.
I could tell in the way you were eating it.
It was really good.
I deeply regretted not getting the burger because it looked just so good. And a pro tip, Kristen said, and can I get extra lettuce? And then she took off the bun and then had enough lettuce to wrap that burger into it.
So when you order your burger, just ask for extra lettuce and then you make your own little lettuce.
It was so smart of her. Yeah. So she had that. And then we hear Miranda.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who knows my name at this
I was like,
Miranda
here we go.
restaurant in Portofino Bay in Universal? Like, it was so bizarre. And I look over and it was my sister-in-law. And I was like, oh my gosh, because I knew that they were going to be there at the same time as we were going to be there, but we were only there for less than 24 hours.
Yes.
And so I wasn't even going to try to have the stress on Jamie or on me to try to meet up. Y'all know how chaotic it is when you go on vacation, then you try to meet someone in the whole thing. And I had just seen her. So I was like, it's okay. But we had been texting or DMing the night before when she saw we were at Horror Nights, and I said, I think we're just going to do a pool day tomorrow at Portofino Bay. She said, yeah, I think we're going to do a pool day at ours. They were at another Lowe's hotel at Universal while we were at our Lowe's hotel at Universal. And so, and I know my sister-in-law, like when she makes a plan, she sticks to it. Like it's the best. Like, I love traveling with her because all I have to do is follow behind. I'm like, lead me, Jamie.
Yeah.
Take me to the next place.
You're not opinionated about what you're going to do.
She's going to plan us the best thing ever. So I'm just like, hey, lead me. I'll go. And so I figured, she's booked them a pool day here. She probably has other fun things for them to do and everything's planned out. And so to know that she still like interrupted that or changed it in order to come surprise me was so thoughtful. So Jamie, I love you. That was really sweet. And I instantly started to cry. And then I saw Denny. And then I saw my niece Jade, and that's what like tipped me over the edge because she's deploying to Kuwait October 8th.
Yeah, this was your chance.
And I didn't know if I was going to see her before she left, and I hadn't met the boyfriend, and so I really was excited to meet him too. So I was a puddle of tears, and then we got to have a fun pool time with them, and they're just so much fun. Like they're just like dope to hang out with. So we had such a good time playing in the pool, and then we finally had to go and catch our flight back, and our flight back was iconic.
It was iconic. And if you saw her reel on her personal page, she talked about it. But y'all, the truth of the matter is this: we flew on 9/11.
Yeah.
And that can just feel a certain kind of way.
It can feel heavy. It can be complicated.
Heavy. It can feel a little bit like, is this safe? Like, is this day cursed in some sort of way? Mm-hmm. But we also kind of mulling it over, it was like, this is probably the safest day to fly, right? Like they're probably even more vigilant on 9/11 because of what happened. Yeah. So we felt okay about it. Yeah. And again, we were flying Spirit back to Charlotte. It was a direct flight. Yeah. And our crew.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Lori Watson was the lead of the flight attendant crew, and I got her name on the way out so that when we did a survey, I could shout them out. And everything from the moment we walked on, we got this very overly friendly vibe. Yes. We did not have that same family behind us, which was great. We had wonderful people all around us. Yes. They were kind of shifting people around if someone looked a little too cramped or someone looked, on the bigger side.
It wasn't a full flight.
It wasn't a full flight. They were happy to kind of shift and move people around, which sometimes they can be very rigid about, I feel like, on flights. And then Lori comes on, to do the safety stuff, and she's being so funny. She's cracking all the jokes, by law, I have to say this, but, and just everything. Then at some point, the guys came up to ask us if we wanted snacks. And they're like, snacks, drink, my number, like just stuff like that, being so sweet and friendly. And we stretched at one point. Lori had us all stretching to the right, up to the left. Then she said, can you go down low? Can you take it to the floor? And she said, and while you're on the floor, if you can pick up your trash, that would really help the flight attendant crew for the rest of the flight. Like, things like that.
It was so great.
Just giggle.
And the ladies in front of us were getting into it. They were
so into it.
They loved the jokes that Lori had so many jokes.
So she was doing knock jokes, and then we found out the women in front of us didn't know what a knock joke was.
Yes, that's right.
So she was like, what is this? How does everyone know what to say?
So like her friend was like, you say who's there? And she was like, but why am I saying that?
She might think that Alaska is underneath California.
She does.
She does. She does. And that's okay because we really liked her anyway. And so all that to say, we like you too, even if you did. But also a knock joke goes like this. Knock.
Who's there?
Atch.
Achoo.
Bless you. And then Lori said, and that was Lori's last joke.
Yeah.
And she said, and I bless you, and may you have a blessed night, and we hope you love flying Spirit Airlines. And I was like, what? I mean, and I know that people, make fun of others when they clap when the plane lands.
I don't care. I will clap.
Yeah. And this crew, this pilot, this flight crew deserved our applause. They gave us their everything on 9/11, knowing what everyone's minds were thinking,
that's right,
walking onto that plane. And so I made what I was regretting mostly is I should have been recording like all the funny stuff the whole time, but I was editing a video for our podcast. And so, the grind never stops, you guys. So I should have been recording like all these funny little things, and I wasn't. And I was regretful of that because it would have been cute to put it all together and be like, this is the best flight crew on Spirit, I'm convinced, and just kind of share all the funny little things because Spirit does get a bad rap and we know that. And so I wanted to show the difference of that because I've flown Spirit several times and it was great every time.
Yeah, it really was great.
So I wanted to know. I mean, minus that family, but again, it had nothing to do with the crew.
You would find that anyway.
So I wanted to make it, but so I quickly recorded, I caught like the last little bit of something funny she was saying, a 15-second clip. And I just put it to the Inside Out song because Kristen goes, put it to the Inside Out
The
song.
Inside Out song.
She's like, you gotta.
You want an emotional video? Put it to
that.
Bundle of Joy, Inside Out soundtrack.
And I just wrote this lovely caption saying like, what could have been a very anxiety filled or just like, I don't know what the right thing to say is, but it's just
It's a heavy day.
Emotional day. And everyone knows what happened. And then you're in the airport that day. Then you're getting on a flight that day. Then you're in the skies that day. And so all of this can be kind of sitting in you. And so I wrote that. I just said, for us to all be in this human moment together and have this crew know that. And I'm sure they're like that I'm not saying that maybe they do these things all the time, but maybe they were just giving it a little extra today.
It felt like they were giving us more.
It felt like they were giving us more. Certainly the crew on the way there was not doing that.
No.
But this one was. And so I wanted to, so at the end of this reel, I said, does anybody recognize any of these people? I only got the lead girl's name and I had already tried to find her on LinkedIn.
Yes, that's right.
I tried to find her on Facebook. I could not find her. So I might have misspelled something. And so I said, does anybody recognize them? I would love to shout them out. And specifically, Spirit had already sent me a survey and I would have loved to list their names out. And I got a nasty comment. I mean, I woke up to a nasty comment
from a guy named Brian. And Brian, I think, is someone that has a lot of sad, hard, dark feelings about 9/11, understandably. He's a New Yorker.
Sure.
Okay, if you're a New Yorker, maybe you went through. But I think he was scouring Instagram, looking at certain hashtags.
But I didn't even use.
That's true.
My 3 hashtags were flight, crew, Spirit Airlines. I did not use 9/11 intentionally. True. I did not use New York.
So I wonder how he found you.
I have no clue how the algorithm showed me to him. But I made intentional decisions because I know how things can look.
You don't want to make it about you.
Because I didn't want to make it about me. Also, I can't stand, especially when influencers, but really anyone, makes a tragedy about them when they have nothing to do with it.
Yes.
Nothing at all to do with it. There was a recent thing that's happened kind of in our community.
Yes.
And again, posted just like, hey, we're wearing this color for her tomorrow night at the football game. Everybody please participate. But in no way was I like, we are her, like, I obviously my kids have gone to school with this family for years and years and years, but I do not know the mom personally. Our children did not hang out. So I'm not going to parade around.
No.
Like I am the most deeply affected person by what has happened in the Fleming household.
Yes.
I would never do that. I would not act that way about 9/11 either. I am not the most affected person from 9/11. But guess what? My brother was in college at West Point the moment 9/11 happened. They went on lockdown because they thought, hey, you know what? They're flying planes into places in New York of special importance. Maybe if they wanted to take out the highest ranking members in the Army, they're going to point that in the direction of West Point.
And Derek was there too.
And Derek was there too. And you remember, this is all happening. And so then my brother graduates. He stays in. He's actually part of a very special class because he was in the freshman class, could have still gotten out with no marks on his record.
That's right.
And they said, if you stay in as a freshman, just know you will be going to war moment you graduate.
You're going to war. And so for Derek, he was a senior when 9/11 happened. And he knew as soon as he graduated, he's going to war.
But had he left, the stakes would have been so much higher for him because he's given all this time.
Yeah.
My brother was given the opportunity. You can still go to another college. Your admissions will still last. We're talking September. He had started in August, late August. You had a 2-week window to get out.
Wow.
He could have gotten out and he stayed. And so I'm like, no, you know what, Brian, you've made all these assumptions about who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And you have and he goes, the people who are the farthest removed from a tragedy make it the most about them. And listen, I'm not the most affected, but to say I was unaffected and the farthest removed, not true either.
But I love
don't you come for me.
Somebody replied, I don't know who it was, but they said at Brian, whatever, said, if you are an American and you were alive on that day and you remember that day and the sinking feeling in our stomach, you were affected by it. It doesn't matter where you were located. Doesn't matter if you lost friends and family.
And you don't get to decide, Brian, who is and who isn't. And who made you feel so special? Let's go back to you're not special.
You're not special.
I'm sorry. You're not. And so I was like, I had to wake up to this. I was just trying to do the right thing. But you know what? For every Brian, there was, there are far less Brians. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Tons of lovely, nice comments. I got so many DMs. One woman was, I'm the wife of a pilot for Spirit Airlines. We get such a bad rap. I almost like, it's hard for me to even say who my husband flies. Like I was getting the vibe that there was some like embarrassment or something about that. And she's like, it was so nice to actually see a positive thing on social media about Spirit Airlines.
But tell them the best part. Who ended up finding you?
Our flight attendant, Ben.
Our flight attendant, Ben. Found the reel that
did.
Miranda made.
Yes, he did.
For that reason alone, I'm so glad that
and he was so grateful. He's like, I shared it with all the rest of our crew members. We loved it so much. Thank you for saying such nice things. And Spirit actually contacted Ben because they saw my reel. Spirit slid into my DMs, not just their robo thing, but like an actual person slid into my DMs and said, we're going to share this not only with the crew members, but we're going to share it company wide and shout these people out. So Ben then saw it like on their email internet or something.
Gosh.
And so that's how he found me. He said, Spirit told me about you. So I came to find the reel. Then he ended up DMing me. Then he ended up commenting. So best believe I went ahead and wrote Brian back and tagged him one more time and just said, you know, what's so great about this reel and all the extra engagement you've given it found its way to Spirit and to Ben, and one of my flight attendants wrote me saying how grateful he was. So in that way, Brian, I guess it all worked out, didn't it?
Did he ever write? But then you ended up deleting it, right?
No, it's still there.
Oh, is it still? Yeah. Did he ever write you back?
No.
Oh,
he's not going to write me back.
That shut him up real quick then.
Mm-hmm. But again, hey, podcast, we've discussed this. We don't act that way on the internet.
Well, that's that was one of my comments underneath it was like, funny, we just did a podcast episode about this.
Yes.
Entitled Go Find Less, and you can hear about how to behave on the internet.
Yeah.
Because you opened Instagram today and decided to be hateful.
Yeah. And all I was trying to do was just find the crew members and say, hey, thanks a lot for doing all this really nice stuff for people who might have felt a little bit wary about flying today.
Miranda did not show her face.
No.
It wasn't like, look at my cute outfit on 9/11.
No.
It wasn't
me walking on the plane, being very sad, crying,
no.
and then seeing this great crew and splicing in this funny thing that they did.
It's literally just a video of the crew doing their crew things. That's it.
I literally picked a portion that would show all four of their faces so that people could try to identify them. I don't know that I used the pronoun I in the entire caption.
Yeah.
And this guy came in just hammering. And the last four words he said were, you make me sick. I was like,
oh my gosh, I can't.
Excuse
People
me?
on the internet.
I make you sick. Today on 9/11, I made you sick. Not terrorists, not people who took our own things and flew them into our own buildings.
Yeah.
Not that.
No, you.
Me?
You.
I'm the one. You went through all of Instagram and you said, this girl makes me sick.
Yeah. You 22.
I can't. I can't. I won't. I shan't. And I won't.
Period.
Well,
we do not care.
So that yeah, I'm showing I don't care, right, guys?
Yeah, we're keeping our cool.
Yeah, we're keeping our real cool cats and kittens. Like Austin said.
I haven't had my kitty cat on here in a while.
I know. We need to put that back on.
I need to bring it back.
Wow. We've really.
That's okay. It's only an hour and 47 minutes.
This is an extra large episode. Extra large, like this bra cup is on my smaller teats. Calling it back. I think that really does. But then we got home and all was well, and we are happy to be back in Charlotte because then we rolled right into our interview with Austin. Then we rolled right into the rest of our lives.
Yeah. So guys, make sure you've listened to the Austin episode. Especially if you're a Bravo fan, go listen.
We'd love it if you share it.
Yes, share. Southern Charm premieres tonight at 9:00 Eastern Standard Time.
By the time
y'all listen, what am I doing? Okay.
Yeah,
you guys get what I'm saying.
They understand. It's time.
What is time? You know that song?
I don't know.
It's a tough one. I'm gonna start adding that one to reels.
Okay.
I'm gonna make
another sad
cry.
one. Okay, make them cry. Make them cry. I'm just loving that you're crying again.
Me too.
I like that.
Yeah.
I want you to be emotional with me.
I have been. I've been crying and it feels good.
Yeah.
We need to cry.
I love it.
You know, I think there's
I do every day.
It's the energy that needs to flow.
Well, they all say that the secret to everything is salt water.
Who is
We never know who they is. We just say a capital T, they. Like, I don't know.
like 6 out of 7 doctors recommend
Yeah,
saltwater tears?
Well, they're just saying like the answer to most things is salt water, right? So if you have a sore, if you're sore, Epsom salt bath. If you need to find serenity, you go to the ocean. Not me.
Couldn't be more.
Not really. If we cry tears out of our eyes to release, then that's the salt water is coming out of your body. It's a saline solution. So like the answer to most things, the way that the world was created was through salt water, making the mountains, making the streams, giving us water. We need water to survive. We rely so much on salt water. So like the answer to most things is salt water.
Wow. We're going to take you out with that.
And Alaska is not California. So there you go. It does have salt water around it though.
It does.
It does.
You know what else? From Africa to Alaska, there's a lot of salt water and a lot of salt water in this girl's head.
You know it. Oh, maybe the title is From Africa to Alaska.
I think it is. I've said it about 16 times. So, know that. Okay.